Hey guys, Moose here, episode 5 of Portal Knights. Don't really remember what we did last time. I've had a lot of crap happen since then, but we'll figure it out. It shouldn't be too bad. I know we haven't gotten that far yet, so I'm not overly concerned by it. Let's take a look at our inventory. How did I do that? Okay, our inventory is really full, so let's maybe consider... I think we filled up the one chest we made, so let's try and make another chest and see what we can do on that front. Go ahead and roll the run faster. Common video game trope. Can't roll up blocks. That's fine. Yeah, just kill this thing. We do plenty of damage now, so that's good. That thing dropped an egg, which is a little odd, but whatever. Alright, so what do we need for making a chest? That's gonna be crafting stations and furniture. Chest 2. We need iron. I don't want to do that. I want to make normal chest. Okay. That's easy. Yeah, whatever. I can't. So, I don't know, like, drop that. Take that. Craft another one. Okay, so that's irritating. I've already talked about all of the multiple things that frustrated me that you've just seen again, but whatever, we'll deal with it another time. I'll whine about it more later, I guess is what I'm getting at. Okay, can't shift click, maybe can't control click. This is the chest. Scroll of healing, water, egg, berries, wood. Some of this is... I want the wood. Some of this stuff you've probably... I probably have in the other chest, but we'll pretend that's not the case. Recipe for classic table. I don't care. Is it full? It's full. Okay. Yes, I know I crafted something and your stupid system wouldn't let me pick it up because you seem to think that you can do something different just because it's different. I really still... whatever, let's talk about it a little more. I don't understand why you would design something that way. I guess. I'm kind of like, this is a really interesting subject for me. So, in a situation like this, why would you ever do this? Why would you make it work that way? Like, if you're a legit game developer, which this looks like a pretty good game, so I assume that the people who made it are, at some point a conversation had to occur about, you know, is this the right choice for our game? Is it the right choice to have this work this way? I know I talked about this in a previous episode, but this is really interesting to me. I think game design is a very interesting subject. Okay, so we have a quest here, so let's just do this. Even though this is only, like, the second area, I think? I don't remember. Like, it's very interesting to me. I'm hitting tab and the target's not switching, so... Okay, I'm dead because apparently the control scheme lies. But yeah, like, it's an interesting subject to me. I think it's very interesting. Game design is a cool topic. It's an interesting topic. So I want to know, like, what went through their minds that made that... Oh, okay. They drop bombs? That's a little strange. Not sure what the logic is there. I guess this isn't the second level. This is a couple further. That's okay. But, I mean, this is... I'm an idiot. That one's my... Okay. If you get me once, I can whine about it, but if you get me twice on the exact same thing, not only twice, but back to back, that's on me. I gotta be less stupid. So, anyway, my perspective on game design is if you're doing something like that, or if you're designing a game and there's something, just whatever mechanic you have going on. Okay, so that's a poison one. Interesting. At some point you have to ask yourself, even if you like it, even if you think it makes sense, there has to be some, like, thought process that occurs that says, you know, hey, well, does it make sense to have this? And I think if you are being thorough, you have to have that conversation or thought process about every single thing you have, pretty much. You know, within reason, I mean, like, oh, should we have a leveling system? Well, if that's a core mechanic of the gameplay, then probably, yeah, you should. But you get what I mean, right? Like, there's a lot of little things, little quirks to how the game functions that don't really make sense to me. I thought we killed... Oh, there's different kinds of blossoms, okay. So that's why the poison ones are different. Okay, we need to heal. Okay. It's doing the typical thing of, no, you can't do that yet. But yeah, so I don't... And given that that conversation... Oh, come on. Dodging straight back doesn't work. Alright. Given... If that conversation happened, I don't see how they could have been in a position where they thought that this was a good idea. And by this, I mean specifically the, okay, you crafted the item, now you have to physically decide to pick it up even though you made the decision to craft it. Like, I don't understand. It does not make any sense to me. Doesn't necessarily need to, but, you know, I think a game should make sense to its players, right? And I feel like that's one of the small things, like, okay, so I'm looking at, okay, here are the games that I'm doing videos for, and I'm thinking, okay, well, what's working for me and what's not working for me? And if I look at views, my perspective is basically just that, like, Overwatch should not be doing well, because there's already many people who are far better than me, far more established than me, both at the game and, like, as LPers, who should be kicking my ass. I should not be getting views for that, because it's just so saturated. I should not be able to compete in that market, is what I'm getting at. But it's... As far as my videos go, it's doing okay. And then Stonehearth, which I think maybe part of that is just that I love playing it, and maybe that kind of translates to the commentary. But if I'm looking at that and say, okay, well, I've got all the other games I do, and this is one of them, and I'm thinking about Portal Knights and saying, do I really want to do videos for this? That's one of the things that, like, on it, you know, you might see, okay, well, yeah, I prefer they do it differently, but it's not like a massive deal. But it's one of those things that just sits there and picks at you in the back of your head. Every time you have to interact with it, it's another, like, oh, not this shit again. It's not a feeling that you want to have when you're playing a game. So... And similarly, if I'm looking at this from a review perspective and saying, okay, well, should I recommend Portal Knights to someone or not? I have to say no. It's got promise. It's a decent game. I like the premise. I like this. The art's beautiful. Like, this is a really beautiful game. I like it. Combat's a little bit bland, but I am playing one of 3 classes. I don't know how the other ones play. You know, there's plenty I don't know. Okay, the first one bounced off the wall and hit me, which is a little irritating. That's something that, given the control scheme and the game at large, seems somewhat unavoidable. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to skillfully dodge that, other than, like, just magically knowing that it's going to ricochet. But yeah, anyway, I just, looking at this game, I'm not... there's too many little things that get in my head and irritate me that don't make any sense. That make me feel like, okay, well, they're not actually trying to make a good game. They just decided that this was how it was going to work, and fuck the player. And I get that some things should not be easy to use because they're not meant to be. I don't think that's one of them. I don't think that adds anything to the game, personally. I don't want to harp on it, but it's one of the things that I don't understand about game design. Because this is not... Portal Knights is not the only game that does crap like that. And it's not that specifically, but just stuff like that in general, where it's... Oh, that was stupid. I forgot again. Just little things that, like, don't really make sense. Why can I not? Why are you not letting me? Okay, but unless you tell me why you're not letting me sharpen it, I don't know what's going on. Is it because I'm close to monsters? But yeah, it's not unique to that kind of thing. Little irritating mechanic that offers nothing from a gameplay perspective is hardly new to... It's not a unique thing to Portal Knights. There's lots of games that fall into that trap. But I want to like pull one of those developers aside and say like, look, why are you doing this? What decision happened to make this occur? And I don't want a canned response to say, oh, you know, we'll look into it or something. I want to know how they got to a point where they thought this was a good idea. And maybe there's something I'm not seeing, where there's some logic that makes it make sense, but I can't think of anything. And I'm not a genius, like, there's plenty of stuff that I don't think of that makes perfect sense, and it happens actually all the time that there's things that work that are like that, where I just don't see the answer, because I just don't get it. But I don't think there's an answer like that here. It seems like it's just an annoying thing that shouldn't exist. And I don't think I'm being whiny at this in the sense that I'm talking about this too much, but I don't think I'm being whiny and having an issue with it. I think it's a reasonable issue. Okay, so it looks like it was just that there was enemies nearby. I had it in the back of my head that might have been why, but yeah, that kind of confirms it. It's because there's enemies close by, that's why it wouldn't let me sharpen my bow. That's fine. Not bothered by that. Don't really understand the limitation there, but not bothered by it. But yeah, I want to understand that thought process, because there's something that I'm clearly not getting. It's not like these people are not idiots, right? If you're developing a game, and this is I don't know how successful this game is, but I expect it's at least somewhat successful. It's not a bad game. So clearly they understand some things. They're not stupid. Oh, we got a trophy. That's interesting. I wonder what that's for. But just the same, there's these choices that I don't get. And, you know, I'd like to make some games. I think a lot of people who enjoy playing games also think, well, you know, I like playing games, therefore I know what is enjoyable, therefore I should make a game. And I kind of fall into that a little bit. I would like to make a game. I would like to go through it. I have a bunch of ideas, some of which I'm, like, actually could execute on. But every time when I'm thinking about going through the process of doing it, and, like, what would go into that, one of the first things is, well, you really have to be honest with yourself and think. You can't let yourself get trapped in the mind of a developer. You have to think as a player and think, well, okay, does it make sense to have XYZ mechanics? Like, does this add something to the game? And sometimes adding something to a game is not at all romantic and very businessy, and that can be, well, this should take longer to do than it does. Like, we should make this a little bit more grindy for X, Y, and Z reasons. And that can be completely valid, and obviously there's games that do that, because technically you could have an MMO where basically if you kill one of every mob in that level range, then you just automatically level up. But or like move out of that level range. And that could be you know, without it working that way, with it working more from an experience standpoint, and saying, well, you have to get this much experience, and effectively you need to kill. Oh, that's bullshit. Okay, that's total bullshit. Why was it ricocheting for like 5 minutes before it hit me? I'm a little mad about that. Most of them just disappear, like almost right away. But that one took forever. And again, off the wall fucking ricochet shots every day. This is starting to irritate me, but whatever. Oh, hey. Yep, I dodged backwards. That one's my fault. The one before that, though, was complete bullshit. I lost my train of thought. Right, so, like, some decisions that you make in game design, I think, like grinding, are not sexy. They're not, like, cool. Like, grinding, everyone hates grinding, right? Grinding's not fun, but at the same time, like, you have to put your players... What is that? What the hell was that? Again, with the, like, 2-minute ricochet coming all the way back across the map. Like, what the hell am I supposed to do? What happened to the camera? Okay, I'm not even gonna... The game is starting to fall apart here. For me. Don't dodge backwards off the edge of the map. But yeah, it's like no one wants to grind, but at the same time, you have to have a certain amount of that in the game. Otherwise, everyone just gets everything too quickly, and then you're done. Like, and I don't think that's purely a business thing, because, I mean, I played Final Fantasy XI. It was a very grindy, very long-term game. It took me like over a year to get one class to max level, and there were like 30 classes at the end of it. So, it was a very grindy game, is my point. You know, the grind is... God damn it. The grind is frustrating at times, but it's also... It's not just valuable to the game from a business perspective of saying, like, okay, well, we want them to play longer so they pay us more money because this is a subscription-based game. It's not just that. It's also that having something take longer like that adds value... Okay, that's on me. I didn't dodge. Adds value to the weight of accomplishment. Like, it makes you feel like you're actually accomplishing something. You're doing something. So, that has value, you know? It's not as simple as just saying, well, more money. Like, there's a point to it. There's a value to it. And I don't think that that should be ignored. And I think it's easy to ignore it. So, I'm not saying that all decisions that are necessarily, like, annoying to the player should be, like, they're bad decisions. That's not what I'm saying at all. Oh, this is bad. I'm just trying to say, like, certain decisions are annoying to the player, but also offer nothing of value. And I think that's reasonable, and also true. And I think the way crafting works in this game, where you have to, like, queue it up, and then pick up the item, but also a lot of the interface, the UI elements, also they offer nothing. They're just annoying. They don't make the game any better, they don't really do anything productive, they're just annoying. So, that's my 2 cents. I just... doesn't make any sense to me. Alright, so it looks like we finished that quest. We also leveled up. Alright, I've died a ton. And we're actually getting there. So, let's go through here, see what happens. Emerald. That was only level... Wait, I don't know what happened. I don't understand what happened here. But at any rate, I'm going to end the video here. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you join me for the next one, and take care.